What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, and welcome to another edition of MVP Games Live right here on either twitch.tv or you're watching us on youtube.com. I am joined, as I always am, with my beautiful co-host, Soapy Muffin.
Hey.
Soapy, I gotta say, usually I would ask you how you're doing, how's your day going, because, you know, as a part of MVP Vids, I am contractually obligated to ask you every single day, but I feel like today I shouldn't ask you that because I know the answer I'm going to get from you. Soapy is devastated today. He is absolutely distraught because last week we told you we were going to do this new thing on Mondays. It was called Mold Breaker Mondays, where we were going to talk about things that were not necessarily newsworthy, and Soapy came into the show today all excited to talk about casuals and gaming and hardcore and being casual compared to hardcore. And I hit him with the juke move, little stiff arm. And I said, yo, dog, we ain't talking about that till tomorrow. So, Soapy, sad day, Mold Breaker Monday getting pushed to Mold Breaker Tuesday.
Man, dude, the alliteration doesn't even work.
Hey, it could be, I said transcending or trend-setting. Trend-setting Tuesdays.
I feel like it's not setting a trend, though.
It could be. It could be setting the ultimate of trends.
What possible trend? Us moving Mold Breaker Monday to Tuesday?
No, just us not talking about news every single day. It's giving us a different reason. Whatever. We're doing it on Tuesday, mainly because we actually have news to talk about. There's some things going on, and plus one of them's a little time sensitive because the Game Awards are this Thursday. I'll start that off with housekeeping. If you would like to watch the Game Awards with Soapy and I, Soapy and I will be live streaming the Game Awards. So how it will work is I'm actually going to do this on the show right now, Soapy. So if you've ever watched with us before, where we are right now, you see us on screen. Last time we used it was the PS5 showcase. We're going to have this graphic up. We're going to have the Game Awards where we're at right now. I'll probably be down there in the corner that's black right now. We're going to be watching the Game Awards together that night, the 10th. So check out twitch.tv/MVPvids in order to watch the Game Awards with us. And then the rest of the housekeeping is as normal. If you want to join the best community on the internet, the Discord, the MVP Discord, link is either down below in the description on YouTube or !Discord gets you that link into the Twitch chat so you can join, like I said, the best community on the internet. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids is how you do that. You can submit to our reader mail. You can get into the voice channels on Discord. You can get content a week early before everyone else for certain videos and content that MVP does. So if you want to support us, the link is, again, down below or !Patreon into Twitch chat gets you that. And like I said, we're on Twitch, twitch.tv/MVPvids every Monday through Friday. We're also on YouTube at MVP Entertainment as well. So go ahead and like, follow, sub, all those good things at both places. But Soapy, we got a jam-packed show today, and what we're talking about is a little bit of Metal Gear Solid news, a little bit of Xbox rumors coming into the Game Awards. We got some Switch not really controversy, but a little bit of Switch discussion going on, and then obviously a little bit to talk about in Shorty But a Goodie today. But we'll start off with, this was the big news on Friday, and me and you have talked before about the Metal Gear Solid movie. Well, it looks like that the Metal Gear Solid movie has found its Solid Snake, as it is going to be Oscar Isaac. You may know him. One of his most notable roles was Poe Dameron in the latest Star Wars trilogy. He's going to be Solid Snake. And right here, IGN has us covered. And the article says, according to Deadline, Isaac, a popular fan choice for the role, is stated to play Solid Snake in Vought Roberts, who did Kong Skull Island, live-action adaptation of the 1998 Konami video game. A script has been written by Derek Connolly, and Avi Aran is producing. Vought Roberts has been working on a Metal Gear Solid adaptation since at least 2017, and a script has been in production since then as well. But with Isaac attached, it appears the Sony Pictures is finally making moves to get production on the long-awaited live-action film started. And there was a tweet from Vaught Roberts who said, This musing is not news PSA. To everyone asking how I feel about Oscar Isaac saying he wants to be Solid Snake, the full process required to cast an icon haven't even started. But ask Bosk's Logic where the idea for his brilliant mock came up. And that was obviously, that tweet was March of 2019. So in 2019, fans were calling for it. Oscar Isaac officially cast. Soapy, I will ask you, out of the two of us, I would say you are more of the Metal Gear Solid, I don't want to say fanboy, but if there's any of us that Metal Gear Solid is in their corner, I would say it's more you than me. So I will ask you this. What are your thoughts on Oscar Isaac being cast as Solid Snake for the Metal Gear Solid live-action movie?
I actually really like it. I think it's one of those things that Oscar Isaac has, like, a solid background.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously, being in Lenny the Wonder Dog really helps with me. But, like, not trying to make it sound like I'm being a shitlord. Like, I actually really liked that movie when I was younger.
Okay.
He's been in a lot of other good movies as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things, I've always enjoyed his performances. And I think this is a good pickup for them. My main thing is just, and I don't want to say, like, oh, what version of Snake are we going to get? Because, like, Snake's always been the same.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, are they going to make Snake the exact same way that he was in the games? Is he going to have more of a... I mean, he has a personality in the games, but it's more or less of just like, I just want to get the shit done, Colonel.
Yeah.
Like, is he going to have more of, like, a talking role? Is he going to have more of, like, basically almost like the point I'm getting at of, like, if he's going to talk a lot, sure.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. Like, but if it's going to be more action-oriented, I'm like, do I really see, like, Oscar being the one to do that?
I mean, I'm trying to think because some of his, and I'm thinking of the kind of more recent roles that he has been in, where obviously Poe Dameron of the latest Star Wars trilogy, part of me wants to say it's almost like that let's get the job done captain with a little sprinkling of personality. Like, he wasn't completely non-personality as Poe Dameron. Obviously, Poe had a personality, but he was more of that, like, whatever needs to be done for the Resistance, we're just going to get it done. In Adam's Family, obviously, as Gomez, he was able to have a lot more of a personality than I would say Poe Dameron had. And then he's also in movies that we haven't even seen yet, where you have Doom, Adam's Family 2, which is filming right now. Dune's in post-production, by the way. He's also been cast, and this is the interesting thing for me, because this comes into the when will we see this movie? Because, like they said, script has been in development since 2017, around the same time since they've been developing the movie. When are they going to be filming this? Especially since Oscar Isaac has also been cast by Marvel to be Moon Knight in their Moon Knight Disney Plus series. So that's another thing of, like, if that's going to be filming next year in 2020, or I'm sorry, 2021, then
I was going to say, don't put us back here. I ain't going through this shit again.
we ain't going back to 2020. That's on me. But, like, does that mean the Metal Gear Solid movie won't be till, like, it won't film until either late 2021, early 2022, and then come out maybe 2023? Like, that's something that I think needs to be worked out too, because Moon Knight is in the same kind of, because of COVID, it's in the same area as Metal Gear Solid, which it's like, it's announced Oscar Isaac is going to play this role, and it's going to depend how quickly Sony wants to move and how quickly Marvel is going to move as well.
Yeah, and obviously that's more details that as we get closer to it, it'll start probably making more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something that I think they should look towards. And also, like, whenever I was saying the Like, I don't know, like, if, like, whichever role they're trying to go for with him,
Yeah.
with Snake. I wasn't meaning that as, like, a shot against Oscar. I do want to
Mm-hmm.
specify that. Like, I think he can play a versatile role. It's more or
Mm-hmm.
less of, like, if you're just going for a guy who just doesn't really talk,
Yeah.
like, I'm not saying Oscar isn't a very fit person, but, like, you could probably find someone who looks more like Snake
Mm-hmm.
than Oscar does. Like, that's a very strong possibility. Give me a second.
Here's here's my one thing I have in my head though, kind of to go off of what you were saying, because I do agree with you to where it's like what kind of, because there's different versions of snakes that we've seen in the video games, obviously. The one thing I'm worried with, and this is mainly because Metal Gear is going to be a video game adaptation movie, and let's be honest, before Sonic came out earlier this year, I would be very worried about this because up until the Sonic movie, there aren't really that much there aren't really that many video game adaptation movies that are good. Maybe the only two I can think of are more recent, where like Detective Pikachu was good, but like yeah, Dave, Detective Pikachu, read my mind, man. Like Detective Pikachu was good, but yet again, that didn't like Detective Pikachu didn't follow a game story. It was like, okay, Pokemon's a thing. We got this world that we can use for Pokemon. Detective Pikachu was a game. So we can really like come up with our own story and we're not handicapped or handcuffed to a certain story. Same thing with Sonic, where they weren't handcuffed to like this story has to happen. Like for example, we talked about The Last of Us. Well, what are they going to do for that TV series? Because if you're just going to tell me the same thing that happened in the game, I'll just go play the game. Why would I need to watch the TV series? Where like Sonic, it came up with its own story. It just had kind of the Sonic character that we know and love, plus the Jim Carrey Robotnik. It was able to kind of work in the real world, not being handcuffed to a story. Is Metal Gear going to be able to do that same thing? Like, what kind of a story are they going to tell with Metal Gear? Are they going to make up their own and kind of take some liberties with it? Or is it going to be, hey, we're going to go back to the first game, we're going to start from there, and it's basically going to be a live action version of Metal Gear 1 that was all the way back on the PlayStation 1?
I mean, dude, I'm more concerned of how the hell are you going to tell Metal Gear's story when even the fucking fan base doesn't know it. Like, there's been like
so
that
convoluted, like, anyways.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm more worried about. Of like, I don't care. Like, how are you going to explain a Kojima story to somebody? Like, how are you supposed to explain Liquid Snake to somebody who doesn't fucking know what Liquid Snake is?
Yeah.
Man, read your goddamn memory card. How are you supposed to say that? Is he supposed to just shoot a random shot into the audience and someone will be like, oh my god, that relates to me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's more of a, I wonder how they're gonna explain the story? Because I feel like the cast member, or like whoever is writing the story, is gonna have to ask Kojima, like, hey, listen, I understand there's like 50 fucking Metal Gear games by this point.
Yeah.
And all of them tell the same story but a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's what exactly am I supposed to know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the one thing that the whole fan base knows is, I mean, obviously there's the people who know it all, and they're gonna be like, oh, actually, Soapy, you fucking moron. Those people are gonna come out of the woodwork now.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it's the main thing that we just know is that Snake is a clone of Boss Man, or Big Boss.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's one of those things of, I'm interested if they do take any creative liberties. I mean, hell, no one's gonna notice, because none of us will know the story. Like, it'll just seem like, yep, this seems like a Kojima movie, alright.
Yeah, I
don't know what's going on.
And that's why I wonder if maybe that's kind of the attitude, not the attitude, the direction that they go with it. It's kind of like, okay, based off of the game, like, what game are we looking at? What are the key points? What are the key things that need to be in this movie that happened in the game? And kind of like working a world around it to where it's like, okay, this story didn't exactly happen in the game. We took some liberties with it, but the characters are who you remember from. Like, that's the thing. Keep the characters true to what we remember in the game. Don't make the character something 180 that we didn't see in the game. And then it's like, okay, these specific plot points need to be hit. This was an important part of the game. This needs to be put into this game, and kind of go with it that way, rather than just having a complete retelling of like, well, I played the game, we're just going to do that same story, but in a live action movie adaptation version.
Yeah, and especially if they are following along with the games, that's where it's going to be really hard, because the first Metal Gear game covers a lot of ground. Like, you get like a whole series of information in one game.
Yeah.
That's where I'm wondering where this is going, because they only have like 2 or 3 hours to fill stuff in, because it is very hard to keep people's attention somewhere after 2 hours. You know, because obviously you get people like me who are like, dude, I just want to move around. I don't want to watch this movie. I want to do something.
Well, I mean, and I'm going to interject really quick. It depends for me. If it's a good movie and I'm enthralled in the world and I am enthralled in the story, I don't have to check my watch. But I usually know when a movie is boring me or a movie is not so great when I get the feeling of like, all right, I need to check my watch. Because that means all right, where are we right now? Because it's also the kind of thing you go to check your watch, you go, all right, I've been here for about an hour and 40 minutes. There's about 30 minutes left of this movie, right? You kind of start doing that like fucking mental math in your head of like, all right, how much longer is this movie and how much longer do I have to sit here through it? You obviously don't want that.
Yeah. And that's kind of my main worry with the movie, is considering how much ground the first Metal Gear game covers. Because, for instance, that's when like you go like halfway through the game, which the game already has like a really long playtime to begin with.
Yeah.
You learn halfway through that, hey, Boss Man's actually bad. And then you go back and it's like, oh, hey, like 6 hours later, here's all this extra lore dump that happens in the end half. And like, oh yeah, and you're a clone of Boss Man. Like, I wonder if they're gonna skim down a lot of that, or is the first game gonna get a bunch of movies out of it? Because there's a lot of stuff you could build up. I mean, obviously, you know, for people who haven't played the video games or anything, like that's gonna be like the big like, oh my god, I didn't know that part, when they're like, hey, you're a clone of Boss Man.
Yeah, the first game, just main story, had about a 16-hour story or campaign.
Yeah. So I think it's one of those things that I don't think that this solo movie by itself is going to be the only thing they would do. I think what they're probably going to do is segment it up. Like, they're probably going to have it, the first one's like, I don't want to say like your stereotypical like action movie, but like probably fit more into that set. But obviously, you know, have it to where like Metal Gear fans would know what's coming next. Of where like we would know like, okay, at some point we're going to hear about like Liquid Snake, we're going to hear about Boss Man, we're going to see these other versions. Obviously, we're not going to see the fucking really weird ones, I don't think. If we see Raiden in the game, I'm going to shit myself, or in the movie, because you have no idea how weird that's going to be. So that's a whole different can of worms.
Here's the problem, though, with it. And, like, because it's almost a thing of, like, I feel like you have to either do one of two things. You either have to commit on the, all right, we're just going to make it a trilogy, or, like, we're going to make it this many movies, where you're either doing the trilogy thing, or you're saying, okay, we're just going to make it a Harry Potter thing, where we're going to make as many movies as we need to tell the story. Here's the problem with that. Is there a possibility of an Avatar: The Last Airbender situation of, all right, we did this movie, we're going to leave it on this cliffhanger because obviously we're going to pick the story up in the next movie. Oh, it did not do well with critics. Oh, it did not make its money back. Any of those situations. And the studio goes, the higher-ups, front offices go, yeah, we lost too much money. We're not making those other ones.
Yeah, I think that's a very huge probability, and that's why I think Metal Gear is one of those games. And I don't remember if I said this last time we talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
This is my worry with it.
Mm-hmm.
Is Kojima makes really good games, and they're really good games.
Convoluted
They don't.
stories.
Yeah, dude, it's literally like I think I've said the story before. When I was playing the Phantom Pain,
Mm-hmm.
literally first hour knew what was going on. Afterwards, literally just had no fucking idea what was going on anymore.
Soapy's like, I'm confused. What's going on here, man?
Dude, because it's the second, like, it's one of those things. It's always, this is how every Kojima game works. Anyone
Mm-hmm.
now who has played one, and obviously doesn't pay as close of attention to the game as I do,
Yeah.
and I don't even pay it that close of attention, like, it'll be, like, normal. Like, they explain some things of, like, oh, hey, like, this person has this ability or something. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And then just out of nowhere, it'll be like, hey, there's a Metal Gear. It's like, oh, okay, cool. That makes sense. Like, oh, yeah, cool. There's a Metal Gear that's fucking better than that Metal Gear, but now there's some secret shadow agency that's doing this shit to do that. And it's like, okay.
You're like, wait, where did they come from? What?
Yeah.
What's going on now?
Yeah, and I get, like, every situation where I'm just like, all right, slow your roll. Kojima, explain. I don't want to play 15 more hours of not knowing what the fuck's going on to understand. Ease me into it. Don't just toss me into the deep end.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that in the movie, though. I would hope they explain things more in the movie.
Dude, who knows? Maybe we get, like, Inception 2.0 where we just don't understand what, like, half the movie's about.
Maybe.
And it's just, afterwards, everyone's going to have to piece it together.
The good thing, though, with it is that hopefully by the time this movie is ready to come out, because I do think that the earliest we see it is 2022, that by the time this movie is ready to come out, obviously COVID, we're hoping, is no longer a thing by 2022, and that this movie won't fall into the weird kind of middle ground of like, well, it didn't really make the money we thought it would because we didn't have it in theaters. Kind of like where all the HBO movies or the Warner Brothers movies are not going to be in theaters, where it's going to be, well, fuck it, we'll just release them all on HBO Max. This movie might not fall into that because we may be going back to theaters in 2022, 2023, when this movie could be coming out. But excited news that Oscar Isaac is going to be Solid Snake in the Metal Gear movie. And moving on, Soapy, like I mentioned earlier, Game Awards this Thursday. Come watch them with us right here on this Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MVP-vids. And if you're on YouTube, there you go. There's our Twitch channel. But there is news from Microsoft today, Soapy, that Microsoft will reportedly make an announcement at the Game Awards next week. This article from Video Game Chronicle, and it says that's according to prominent games journalist Jeff Grubb, who made the claim during a Games Beat video stream on Friday, but did not share further details on what it could entail. Microsoft has shown that historically it's willing to reserve its higher tier announcements for the awards show, such as last year's Xbox Series X console reveal. 2020's Game Awards will be streamed live on Thursday, December 10th. At, let's see, for us, it's 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, and features new trailers, game demos, and announcements, according to its organizer, Jeff Keighley. Microsoft itself has hinted that it could participate in the show's announcements, but prominently tweeting to its fans to tune into the show on December 10th. It also concluded December's Game Pass update with, "See you at the Game Awards, friends." One game that will reportedly not appear is Halo. 343 Industries has told fans last month that Halo Infinite won't be shown at the Game Awards. However, the studio said it was hoping to provide a high-level update on the delayed game in the coming weeks before restarting the journey to release with fans again next year. And then there's a tweet. It said, "Tune into the Game Awards this year to see great games get honored. Watch on December 10th." And it had a green kind of Game Awards picture with the date and everything. So, Soapy, I'm going to ask you. We're guessing this is not Halo because they told us it wouldn't be Halo. Let's be honest, though. There's a lot of times game studios have told us one thing, and then, aha, we swerved you because you believed us. In your opinion, is this not Halo? And if so, what the hell could this announcement be at the Game Awards?
I don't think it's going to be Halo, and that's not me doing the whole, like, Microsoft would never lie to me. Microsoft's lied to me plenty of times.
Yeah, I don't think it will be either, just to get that out there.
I think this is going to be, like, a new acquisition.
Okay.
Or maybe we see Fable. Who knows?
Oh, that
all
is
we saw
right.
from Fable.
That
all we
is
saw
true.
from Fable.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, all we saw from Fable before was that little trailer where the thing got ate by a frog. So
I completely forgot about that. Do you think we see gameplay from Fable?
Maybe. Like, my whole thing is, I feel like it's something much bigger than Fable, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's me playing it safe of, like, oh, it's Fable. But like, I feel like it's probably they bought another company and are keeping it under wraps really well.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, obviously, I don't know any company that would have bought.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they have, like, an even bigger partnership with EA, but even in that, like, that definitely would have been fucking leaked by now. Like, it's... I want to play it safe and just say Fable, but I also want to be like, there's no way Microsoft's hyping this up just to be Fable.
You know what I think it is? So, there is one thing. I'm looking at an Inverse.com article where they did 5 predictions, and in their predictions, one of them says a major Game Pass addition or reveal. And they said Xbox Game Pass has grown exponentially throughout 2020 thanks to the launch of Xbox Series X and S and the addition of Project X Cloud, cloud streaming, and EA Play to the service. At the end of a blog post on December 1st, community manager Megan Spur teased readers by saying, "See you at the Game Awards, friends," like I mentioned in the Video Game Chronicle article. What could this message be teasing? It could be something as tame as a reveal of the games that are coming to the service throughout the rest of December, or as big as the service expanding to a new platform or adding a major AAA game the day of the Game Awards. We'll just have to wait and see. What?
Could it be Cyberpunk? Could they announce that Cyberpunk's going right to Game Pass?
Oh, that's the day it comes out. That is the fucking day it comes out. See, I was gonna go on a different thing. I was gonna say like a extended Elden Ring trailer.
Maybe.
Because we talked about Elden Ring. Phil Spencer has talked about Elden Ring recently, saying that he's played it and he's been blown away by it. Like, why not show that? You know what I'm saying? Like, the Cyberpunk thing is more right because that's like that's the same day it comes out. They could say like, boom, Cyberpunk, play it right now on Game Pass. Basically, what, you're playing the game for free then?
Yeah, I mean, the people who bought the game are gonna get real mad, but they can get over it.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think they do that fucking like to piss people off like that?
I mean, if they get mad about it, they can get over it.
Yeah, like I know that, but like, is doing that really gonna help them? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it gonna drive that many people to Game Pass? Because, for example, like Mark Weber said in our Discord today, who's excited for Cyberpunk coming out this week? And I was like, you know what? Part of me wants to buy it and play it on launch, but then there's a part of me that's like, I don't have my PS5 and I want to play it on PS5 because of how like good it looks and stuff. And like, he even mentioned like, oh, well, how long is it going to be until we get a PS5? I'm just going to play it on the PS4. And I'm like, okay, like I'm starting to think about whether I should just bite the bullet and get it on my PS4. How many people are going to be holding out, though, to where those are the people that kind of an announcement would kind of drive into Game Pass?
Yeah, and I think it encourages a lot of people because, you know, I'm not going to say like, oh, I'm in the majority with the way that I think of like, oh, I'll just wait to play these.
Mm-hmm.
But if you told me, hey, you can play Cyberpunk for free, oh, I ain't fucking waiting. Like, that's the one thing of, I think that's that's the approach I'm looking at it from. If they do announce Cyberpunk goes on, I'll say I don't think Cyberpunk will. We'll probably get more news about it. Elden Ring, that's most likely what we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, for instance, I think it's one of those things that would make me play it on current gen. If they were like, hey, it's on Game Pass. Like, obviously, it's one of those things where I know saves transfer and everything, but, like, I don't want to have it, like, halfway through the game. It's just like, oh, out of nowhere, boom, now the world looks beautiful or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because I jumped next gen, it definitely not going to be halfway through the game, but...
Yeah, I mean, and also it's kind of like we've talked about of, like, how much replayability is Cyberpunk going to give us because of the 3 different classes. Plus, I'll be honest, I put this in the Discord today. I didn't read it because I didn't want anything spoiled or anything, but there was a Polygon article where the title of it talking about Cyberpunk is they called it Dad Rock, not New Age. So, like, that all, just seeing that headline made me think, oh, if they're comparing Cyberpunk to Dad Rock, that can't be a good thing, right?
I mean, Polygon's also just a shitstorm too, so...
Good point.
It's one of those things that things will try to generate clicks and everything off of Cyberpunk's name. I'm not doing the whole, oh, fake news. I'm not doing that. It's more or less of, like, it doesn't surprise me that people will be like, oh, this isn't New Age. This isn't what we want. And it's like, well, there are some people who don't want something that, like, I've seen some people say with Cyberpunk. Like, there are people who are just like, hey, I just want a Cyberpunk game because the Cyberpunk world is cool. And even then, Cyberpunk is based off of an old thing. Stop acting like this is some brand new fucking idea that just came out of the fucking air. Cyberpunk's been around since, like, the 70s.
But, dude, like, it's new. It's new and it's 2020, right? It's got Keanu Reeves in it.
Yeah, totally. That's what it is. Like, ooh. That'll be a whole different fucking thing for a different day. Of my beef when people complain about shit like this.
Which, by the way, one of my buddies that I play WoW with was basically, like, talking about the delays of Cyberpunk. And he's like, yeah, after a while, he's like, I just got to the point where he's like, they're not even going to release a game. They just wanted to hang out with Keanu Reeves. They want an excuse to hang out with Keanu Reeves. So they're like, hey, let's put him in this game that's never going to come out because we're just going to keep delaying it. Hoping that it comes out on the 10th. Comes out later this week. But the 2 things we know for sure from the Game Awards is Jeff Keighley has tweeted that we're going to see Fall Guys Season 3, and then we're going to see the new map for Among Us at the Game Awards. So those are 2 things we know. Xbox, we don't know. We're going to have to see what that announcement is. Is it Game Pass? Is it Elden Ring? Is it Cyberpunk? Is it... What's the one you mentioned? Fable? We don't know. We're going to have to wait and see from Xbox. Let us know what you guys think. Your predictions down below or in Twitch chat right now. But moving on, Soapy. There was a article today, had an interesting comment in it to me. So, Yakuza's executive director, Toshihiro Nagashi, has reportedly said he views Nintendo Switch predominantly as a console for kids and teens audience. Nagashi, who is also Sega's chief creative officer, is said to have made the comments in an official Sega video discussing his development history. In a section covering his 2001 puzzle game, Super Monkey Ball, which is a great fucking game.
Absolute banger.
The designer and producer commented according to Sega's own translation. I think even now the Nintendo platform is still a game console that is played by a wide range of age groups. But basically, I think it's hardware for kids and teens. Amid all that, at that time, Nintendo was also putting a lot of effort into the kids market, and I thought it would suit. If taken literally, Nagashi's comments could play down the chance of the 18 and M-rated Yakuza series being released on the Nintendo platform. Soapy, what is your thought when you see the Nintendo Switch? Like, do you think it's one of those... Because, like, to me, the Switch is a very unique console. Obviously, Nintendo is unique. They kind of do their own thing while PS and Xbox kind of butt heads. But like when you look at it, it's like I know people that are in my age group, like in their 30s, that play the Nintendo Switch. Mainly Animal Crossing is the big thing this year that they played. And obviously, like, there's people that like Mario and stuff, but do you kind of see where... Choo-choo, get on the Switch train. Do you kind of see where Nagashi is coming from? And do you see the Switch as primarily being for kids and teens?
I see where he's coming from. And it's mostly because, at least to me, I've always viewed it, Nintendo seems like more of a... I don't want to say like a kids game company, but like it's one of the things, Nintendo's not making games that... How do I want to word this so I don't sound like an asshole and just sound like every episode I'm just going to drag Nintendo when I get a chance?
Child-friendly characters. That's how I would say it.
Yeah. Yeah, like child-friendly, like the games aren't complicated, like there's not any hard systems in the game. Like, dude, hell, you could argue probably the most complicated game is Pikmin. And even that, kids don't play Pikmin.
Yeah.
Like, you have the people who grew up playing Pikmin that play Pikmin. But I see where he's coming from. I'd add one more age range to it, though.
What?
I'd say kids, teens, and young adults.
Okay.
And it's the main reason I'm saying young adults is because those people grew up with Nintendo. So it's one of those things where I think it's fair to say it is marketed towards kids and teens, because once again, that's kind of where Nintendo's like main audience is at. Of where like they release kid-friendly games. And obviously, I'm not saying like, oh, adults can't play kid-friendly games. It's not what I'm saying. But like, it's one of those things that like, if you looked at a game like Animal Crossing and didn't know that like everyone and their fucking brother plays the game, you'd be like, oh, that's a kid's game. Like that's meant for little kids.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that I think it's a fair point to say the Switch is like for kids and teens. But like once again, like I said, I'd add that extra age range. But also, I wouldn't expect Yakuza to be on there anyways. Just for like that like little final bit that they said in there of like this may hamper it. I didn't expect it to be on there anyways. Because Nintendo is petty, and that is a Sega company. You know, they may still have some beef from back in the days.
Now, the one thing I'm looking at is I'm trying to look up the game Hades. And for some reason, I can't find its game rating. Like when I type rating, it talks about like what its like rating is, like 10 out of 10 on Steam. Metacritic.
Look up its ESRB.
ESRB, that's what it's called. Thank you. Let's see. Game rating, ESRB. All right, Hades is teen. I thought like there was a part of me that was like, is Hades MA? That's the thing but no, it's teen. So like, I don't know, like, I have the same feeling that you have where young adults do play the Switch, I feel like. But like at the same time, like for me, I'll be honest, my sister bought me a Switch right after it came out, like the Christmas after it came out. I played it for a little bit. I played some Super Smash Bros. I had Mega Man X on it. Played that, beat that, no problem. Played a little bit of Breath of the Wild. Mostly played that when Dave and I took our trip to Las Vegas for Summer League and then California for VidCon. But really after that, I haven't really touched my Switch. It's been mostly the more, I don't want to even say more mature games. It's just the games on my PlayStation, the games on my computer, compared to the Switch. Now, I don't know if that's because of the Switch in general, to where it's like it's more of a, I know you can put it in the dock and you can play it on your TV and stuff, but because it's more of a like handheld kind of a situation, and like I'm barely, like when I played it when I got it, it was mainly like I'm laying on the couch or sitting on the couch. Let me play Super Smash Bros. While I'm sitting there. But often now I'm not just sitting on my couch. I am sitting here where you see me right now. I'm either sitting here playing my PlayStation, sitting here being on Discord with the patrons, Discord with you, Discord with Dave, playing World of Warcraft, like one of those things. I'm usually at my computer, kind of playing games instead of just lounging and relaxing on my couch. Like maybe that's it, but like I could totally see where someone's coming from, where it's like most of the games I think about for Switch are mostly kid drawn. And like you're right, there are the young adults, like I would even say up to like my age group, kind of, because like you see like the Austin Creeds playing Switch as well. Like for example, the Mario Kart that came out with like the actual cars. When we saw that, I can't remember if it was you and I were like, "Oh, that's primarily for kids." But yet again, like someone like Austin Creed was playing it as well and gets excited about those games. So it's like there are young adults, but I think that Nagashi is kind of right that like it might be Nintendo, and there's nothing wrong with it, but they might be a company that's just geared more towards kids and teens because of the type of games that you see on it. Because I'm trying to think if there's any mature game on the Switch.
I mean, I think Bayonetta's on there. I think. I mean, I know they have The Witcher on there, but I'm just saying, dude, if you play The Witcher on the Switch, that's an L. Like, I don't normally shit talk people for what platform they play a game on or anything. Mm-hmm. You're playing like the worst version of Witcher at that point. You may as well just stop. So also, I do need to step away for a second. So.
You're good. I'll talk until you come back. Okay. Looking right now on Best Buy, it's the mature games are Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered Edition. However, that's a remaster. Mortal Kombat 11. But yet again, I think that was one that came out not on the Switch and then eventually came to the Switch. So there's a part of me that feels like I would have to look into if that originally came out on the Switch or if that was like an add-on later. Let's see. That one's not a big title. Ancestors Legacy, never heard of that. BioShock, the Collection Standard Edition, yet again a remake. Or I should say a one that the game was already out and then it basically got re-released. Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim Standard Edition, and then The Witcher. So basically the only mature game Soapy that I'm seeing, the big ones are Assassin's Creed, Skyrim, BioShock, and then like Mortal Kombat and Borderlands. Oh, and Diablo is on the Switch as well.
Besides, man, I noticed none of those are Nintendo games.
Yeah, like Friday the 13th, Zombieland, Outer Worlds. Like, you made a good point that I didn't. They're all non-Nintendo titles, and they're titles that are like, oh, let's go ahead and put this on the Switch.
Yeah. See, Bayonetta's their game, though, right? I don't think Bayonetta's actually on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, Bayonetta's their title, right?
Yes.
Like, they made it.
Yeah, I think so, because she's in Super Smash Bros.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there's other characters in Smash that aren't Nintendo characters, so...
I just assumed she was. Let's see. Bayonetta is a... Yeah, she's a Nintendo character.
Okay. Yeah, so, you know, I'm just saying, dude, if this isn't proof... You know, it's just one of those things that Nintendo has such a soft spot in people's hearts that you will have adults willing to play games meant for children, which that's not a bad thing. I want to reiterate that before someone just thinks like, man, dude, Soapy just gets a hate boner for fucking Nintendo every time he gets to talk about them.
Let's see. I'm looking up the ESR. Yeah, Bayonetta.
Oh yeah, Bayonetta's on.
Sure. Yeah, just wanted to make sure. I wanted to even make sure it was on the Switch.
Yeah, it's because she has guns and kills people, so...
Yeah, I just wanted to even make sure she's on the Switch as well. So...
Yeah, I don't think she is. I think the furthest she's on the Switch is through Smash. Because I know there was also the controversy. I'm trying to remember what fighting game. this one character was from.
So
This person's sprite was in the background. They had to take it out because it showed a little too much cleavage.
the first one is on the Switch. Came out in February of 2018 on the Switch. And the second game is also on the Switch. So basically, they came out, number 1 and number 2 came out February of 2018 on the Switch. But yet again, they were already out, and then they basically 4 years later, oh, the Switch is a thing. Let's go ahead and put them on the Switch as well. But it's in this. I thought this was an interesting conversation just because the Switch, I think, is such a unique console compared to all the other ones, the 2 other ones that we have. Then, Soapy, let's move on. Let's close the show. Shorty but a goodie for today. Number 1, if you are a convention goer and you're like, Ricky, 2020 has been so bad. I haven't had my PAXs. I haven't had my E3s. I haven't had my Anime Midwest, my Comic-Cons, my C2, E2s, anything. I haven't had my cons to go to. Some normalcy may be coming back sooner rather than later because according to IGN, PAX has revealed its tentative calendar for conventions set to take place in 2021. This includes PAX East, PAX West, PAX Aussie, and PAX Unplugged. In a statement put out on Twitter, the PAX team revealed the events, that events will begin in the latter half of the year. The dates are as follows. So they announced that PAX East, they're planning for June 3rd to June 6th of 2021. PAX West from September 3rd to September 6th in 2021. PAX Australia, it says more information to come. PAX Unplugged, December 10th to the 12th, 2021. It's worth noting that PAX South is not being planned for next year, but is expected to return in 2022. Information about PAX Australia will be revealed in the coming weeks. Soapy, I know this is the speculation part of the podcast, but do you think that for people who want to go back to normalcy, want to go back to a convention like PAX, for example, PAX East, June 3rd to the 6th, if you had to put your money on it, do you think that's going to happen, or is that going to have to be pushed back to later in the year, or if not canceled for 2021?
I think it mainly depends when we finally get the vaccine we keep hearing about.
Good point.
It's one of those things, if they do push it out as quick as they keep making it sound, it's possible. But also then once again, we also don't know if the vaccine's going to actually work.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I don't want to just only talk about COVID, but it all hinges on that. Obviously, fuck, they could just be like, you know what? Fuck you guys. You don't have it there. We're going somewhere else. And because dude, hell, the rest of the world's back to normal.
Yeah,
in Australia, they're having concerts because no one has it anymore.
Yeah, let's be honest. Retro in our Discord has also talked about that. Australia did it the right way. They locked down all their borders. They said stay at home for 2 weeks, and then boom, after the 2 weeks, you didn't have to do anything. Like, they did it the right way. The other thing I think in my head is it... I want to say, is it right for PAX to put out dates now? Because I know you want to put them out soon enough to where it's like, hey, if COVID does end by April and May, like, we want you to be able to plan for these things, but should it also be kind of a, you know what, let's kind of wait a little bit to see how things progress? Because, like, there's a part of me that feels like we don't have enough answers. You know what I'm saying? Like, we haven't found anything out yet. It's still the same thing of like, oh, well, first, essential workers will probably get the vaccine first. That'll probably be by the end of the year. And then hopefully by April, everyone is getting that first dose. Because apparently we're going to need 2 doses of the vaccine to make it work. There's a part of me that's like, should have PAX even announced these dates, or should they have waited and kind of see what's going on with this vaccine especially for the U.S. ones, East and West.
I think that's something that, like, just putting the dates out. I definitely think PAX should have been like, hey, these are subject to change, aka these are subject to be canceled. So I think it more or less was just kind of the wording that they should have gone with. Not so much of just like these are 100% set in stone. They should have been like, hey, these are the dates we're aiming for. If we have to move it back, we can. But there's also a chance we have to cancel. I mean, obviously, it's one of those things. Most people are reasonable enough to understand that, like, if we're still in the middle of getting doses, like, this is probably going to get canceled. You're going to have people like, I let it go anyways. But those people can just die for all I care. But that's besides the point. But yeah,
it wouldn't be a Games Live if Soapy's not telling people to die, right? Those people can go die.
But yeah, I think it's one of those things that it's not terribly bad for them to announce it. It's more or less of just people need to have an open mind and understand there is the likelihood it gets canceled.
And then Soapy, the last thing we're going to move on to and shorty but a goodie end the show with is ya boy. I'm calling him ya boy. Neil Druckmann, who you have said so many good things about. Like,
oh yeah, dude, only good.
There has been, like, I don't think Soapy has ever said a bad thing about Neil Druckmann. This is from Video Game Chronicle. Says Neil Druckmann, the writer and director behind The Last of Us games and Uncharted 4, has been promoted to co-president and co-president of developer Naughty Dog. The news was announced at the company meeting on Friday, along with the promotion of Alison Mori, previously the director of operations, and Christian Geiring, I hope I said that right, previously the co-director of programming, to vice presidents of Naughty Dog. Druckmann's promotion comes in recognition of a hugely successful game projects he led at Naughty Dog, including this year's Last of Us Part 2, which broke multiple PlayStation sales records. The writer and designer had spent 3 years as vice president. Prior to that, he had worked as a designer on the Uncharted and Dak and Dexter games since 2004. Druckmann is currently the executive producer and writer of the HBO The Last of Us TV show, along with Chernobyl creator Craig Mazin. The quote I have here from co-president Evan Wells says, as we close out a year that has seen its challenges as we all live through a global pandemic, there have been bright moments too. One exciting moment for Naughty Dog was the long-anticipated release of The Last of Us Part 2 in June. Another moment comes today, as we wanted to share some other terrific news about the studio. Soapy, what are your thoughts on this? Neil Druckmann getting a promotion at Naughty Dog, becoming the co-president.
Man, dude, I can't wait until he bullies his way into being the president. That's going to be fun. Because that's how he got his position at Naughty Dog, was he basically bullied his way into that spot. Like, he literally made someone quit.
Yeah, but I don't think they could do, like, the way the company's set up.
You'll find a way.
The way the company is set up, they have 2 presidents and 2 vice presidents.
He'll find the way.
So what, he's just going to change the company, change what they do?
Mm-hmm. Like, dude, I'm just mostly saying that as a shitlord. I don't really care about Druckmann. Okay. It's more or less of, I'm just more annoyed that they dance around the fact of, they're like, oh, well, look at all these records it broke. It's like, look at fan reception. The people who bought the game.
Doesn't matter. That's sold copies. Sold copies are going to be a third one.
Yeah, and then the third one's going to have the same story. They're going to be like, oh, we're going to make Ellie seem like this, because you still haven't played the goddamn game!
I mean, let's see. The DLC's coming out, Abby's story, so we'll see how that one goes.
Man, dude, I can't wait to see the fucking internet shit on that one. Which, I'm just saying, to be fair, Abby got a lot more hate than she should have.
Okay.
I will say that. But that does not change the fact that, one, the story is poo-poo. Yeah. Okay, I will say this. I give the game a lot of shit because it let me down. As a game itself, it is not bad. It's more or less of, like, you can tell Druckmann's grubby little fingers are all over it.
Yeah.
Because you can tell he did not write the first one. And because it's a completely different writing style. And also, I wonder how many games he's going to force himself to write into.
Okay.
Because he had a self-insert in Last of Us too.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably going to do it again in any other game he touches. He's probably going to be in the fucking TV show too.
I mean, you got the Last of Us TV show, the Uncharted movie with fucking Tom Holland as well. I don't know how closely he's working with that project, but like that's a naughty.
He's going to be in that movie too.
He's going to weasel his way in, but Druckmann promoted to co-president of Naughty Dog, and that's what we'll end the show with. But that's going to do it for Games Live today. Thank you guys for everything you do. Remember, if you want to join the greatest community on the internet, our MVP Discord, do that today. Link down below in the description or exclamation Discord into Twitch chat to get you into that Discord. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids is how you do that. You can reader mail. You can get content early, get into voice channels for watch-alongs that we do in the Discord. Exclamation Patreon. Thank you, Soapy. Gets that into Twitch chat. Also, there's a link down below in the description. We're on Twitch every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids, but we are also on YouTube at MVP Entertainment as well. Soapy and I will be back tomorrow with Mold Breaker Tuesdays because Mold Breaker Mondays got pushed a little bit of a day. It doesn't, but hey, for this week, we're just going to have to fucking do it, Soapy. So we'll be back tomorrow doing our Mold Breaker Monday, unless something like absolutely major drops. But I want to thank you guys for doing everything you do, watching and listening. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Bye.